Welcome to the GuestX podcast, where my co-host Brian Amaui and I uncover the latest technologies and human-driven initiatives that are raising customer expectations and forever changing how we define customer experience across a host of industries. If you are passionate about creating incredible content and unique experiences, join us as we talk to leading product and experience experts across the globe and learn about how today's most successful brands are setting themselves apart from the competition. Excellent. So we are here today with Tim Rosolio. We're here at the house in Lenox, in the Berkshires, talking about really the project that you guys have going on here. You know, from Vrbo's perspective, obviously, not only increasing supply, right? You've got this huge demand, but really increasing, I think, the guest experience that they have when they stay at supply is helping you all. So talk a little about this project and why it's so important for Vrbo.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I want to thank you guys for having me on
Awesome.
again. We've had a whole week together. We've seen each other in Burma and Vegas. We're here in the Berkshires, you know.
A few weeks ago, we were in Spain and Vitor.
I got to miss out on all of that.
Yeah.
And we get you the
I know.
invite.
Yeah, Matt said to me the other day, people start thinking that you're a ghost. I'm like, no, I'm around. I'm around.
But you're not real.
Yeah.
Brian needs the invite next time. Yeah. Cool. So back to your question. I mean, I think, well, why does it make sense for us? Ultimately, it makes sense for us because when you provide a premium home and a premium experience, it's going to deliver more bookings to that individual owner or the property manager that owns that property. And then additionally, beyond that, when we believe that people have great experiences, they leave more 5-star reviews, and we see a higher repeat rate for us too. It's all about when we deliver a great experience, that's great for our category and it's great specifically for Vrbo.
One of the things we were just talking to the homeowners, they talked quite a bit about the help that Vrbo has been just it now having to reprice this unit. And I think a lot of people forget that one of the big assets of partnering with Vrbo is really leaning on your team at Partner Success to, hey, where do I need to make improvements? What type of things I need to highlight? You were walking through the house next to designers. And I will admit, when we first started, I thought, what is Tim going to add to this conversation? But you threw out some great data points that maybe not have been high design data, but around vacation. Talk to us a little about just what you see in some of the listings and how people can improve and see better ROI in their partnership with Vrbo.
Yeah. I mean, and you're very astute. I definitely was a little out of my league in terms of the true interior design stuff. But I have seen enough data that indicates what are the right amenities that I would really put those into 3 separate categories. So first, there's the amenities that you probably have, and you just need to make sure that they're disclosed on your listings. The best example I could use is Wi-Fi.
Oh, I need to tell people I have Wi-Fi.
You need to, yeah.
Good rule number one.
Because the reality is, if people are putting that in as a filter, probably our most used filter, you have this amenity. Just disclose that you have it.
But here's the key behind that, guys, is Wi-Fi is good if you have good Wi-Fi in the house.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think it's important to pick that, because if you don't have good Wi-Fi, you're going to complain. So if you're going to put Wi-Fi in the house, that is an essential amenity in a house. Most people are looking for high speeds. They work, they have families. Everything you guys do now is via the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. In particular, for people that want to do long stays and work from that location. If you're going to be doing Zoom into a workplace environment and, you've got palm trees behind you, it's a pretty good idea that your connection's good at the very least,
Does that translate into almost any amenity that you put into the house then? Should it be a higher quality so that it's, don't cheap out?
Absolutely. I mean, someone once told me anything that your body's going to touch needs to be high quality.
I love that rule. That's a great rule. So talk about what that means. What do you mean by that?
I think typically, the things that come to mind at first are all the linens, the bed sheets, bed spreads, towels, even like the small hand towels. Like it's one of those senses that just makes somebody say, this is a quality place.
Yep.
Rather than like, I think you've probably been to some VRs before where like, aesthetically, it's great that you get to the towel and you're like, come on, we can do better.
Doesn't dry you.
Yeah.
Right?
No, it's a good point. So I guess, rule number one is obviously make sure that when you're creating these listings, that you're taking the time to fill and tell people why it's a great place to stay. But then when they look at, oh, what changes can I make to this home? I think there's a couple different levels. I think a lot of people think, oh, I've got to completely remodel this house. But you pointed out a lot of things in this home that, and we mentioned earlier, it was only worked on for 2 months. This wasn't like a 12-month rebuild. And of course, they're getting a lot more. So talk about just some of the small improvements that you've mentioned.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's a good call because people always index towards like, what's the amenity that will make me $1 gazillion? Well, yeah, if you install a pool,
Yes,
you're willing to
that's right.
install a
That's
pool,
right.
that you'll make a lot of money.
$70,000 pool, and
Yeah.
we'll rent for more.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would hope so.
You heard it first here from Tim Rosolio. $70,000 pool, rents higher.
A lot of advice from Verbo. What can I say?
Expedia Group, hiring only the best. Okay.
Additionally, what I would say is, small things like the appliances, like,
You have a favorite.
yeah.
What's your favorite?
So there is a data point that we pulled from a recent survey that said 25% of people, when they stay at a vacation rental, expect there to be a waffle maker. And let me tell you, it probably shouldn't be the Target waffle maker. It should probably be a really nice waffle maker.
Yeah.
Because it's the sort of experience that when somebody's on vacation, they want to do maybe more of a breakfast than they typically would.
They've got
grab
time.
rather than grab a muffin and a coffee and get out the door. And plus kids like it. So the waffle maker was one that I read that study. I said, wow, that sort of sticks out. But it's funny. Somebody today, we were going through the house, sort of said like, ooh, look at that waffle maker. And I'm like, yeah,
It's at the waffle.
there's the proof right there.
And they even said that they get the request for it on their
Yeah.
Verbo account,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
was
They've got
pretty outstanding.
comments about the waffle maker.
Yeah.
So tie that with kind of the appliances,
Yeah.
right? You've talked about the mixers, and understanding where people are going to be spending time is a little different when you're at home, maybe than when you're at a vacation rental. Those gathering areas, and I think that's a big piece about Verbo. This is a perfect project for you all, because you don't do shared spaces, right? I know that, look, I know that the supply push has been big across all OTAs, and I know Verbo is pushed to get into a little bit more of the city markets, but still, I think it's fair to say you are heavy leisure market. I mean, you dominate the leisure markets, which means it's going to be more families. Again, those shared living spaces, right? So that's kind of the areas to focus on, would you say, first in improving these properties?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the three places. It's the kitchen, first of all. And we talked about some of the things that are in there to make that an inviting space and to do fun, different things perhaps you wouldn't be able to do at home. Then the second place I would say is the living room. When we were showing this place today, like, as much as I love a good lazy boy that's pointed directly at the most enormous TV as
Yeah, the
humanly
80
possible,
inch, right? Yeah.
that's not really probably like what families or groups around me want to be doing.
Yeah.
As much as I enjoy it. So the idea is really having that inviting space where people really can have conversation. You can have a cup of beer. Well, not beer, not too often. A cup of tea or your beverage of choice. And then, it's really wise to have all of these activities that people can do in that space. Like downstairs, there's a chess set. I don't play a ton of chess, but if I'm doing sort of that lazy vacation trip, maybe I'll play chess. Maybe I'll put together a puzzle. Yeah. People with children often talk about how great it is to have little toys to keep their children entertained. And in Disney, I'm sure that's like the rage.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things that was impactful for me was the views in this house.
Yeah.
You walk in and you have this beautiful lake view overlooking the trees. And one thing that they did really well with the design in this house was understanding that the view was the key to the house.
Yeah.
So all of the spaces,
The couches point towards that
everything,
back
so
window.
you don't have your back towards the lake. So I think it's really important for people to understand the space and the value proposition of the space and then design around that.
I think that's a really good way. I mean, the third place I was going to mention is any sort of dining area, especially outdoor dining area.
Yeah.
I mean, think of how experience that you're selling. If you have like a really good grill, and right next to that you have like the perfect dining area to spend time as a group that can fit even a larger group, and then on top of that, it's like here it's directly next to the lake, or if you're in a ski location, amazing view of the mountain. This is the sort of thing that makes people say, "Wow, I want to stay at the house."
Well, and I thought you did a nice job too of pointing out some things here where it is a little bit maybe more of a summer market, bringing out the fire pit, even if it's the propane, but extends that season, extends, because we were talking to the owners, and we have to remember these improvements sometimes are about driving rate in July. In December, it may be about, well, we still can't get more rate, but we can get more nights.
For sure.
For sure. But they have to be able, those things have to be usable then in those shoulder seasons, and things like fire pits.
Fire pit, hot tub,
Hot tub,
sauna.
yeah.
You're transforming that image from like spending time on the lake being necessarily outside to spending time on the lake in a cozy lake town. Still sounds pretty good. I mean, I can tell you for my vacation rental, actually on the weekends, as I start going into the winter and fall, I don't discount my rates on the weekends in a lake town, because I know with my really nice fireplace and my hot tub, we're still going to drive the bookings. I flex a lot more during the week, but having the right amenities really changes the seasonality of a specific destination.
So I mean, it's just some really good data points. And I think, again, I just want to reinforce, leaning on Vrbo as a partner to understand as you're looking to do these things, where can I improve?
It was actually really interesting. I was talking to some of your team members earlier, and even things to regulations. If you guys aren't sure about the regulations in your town and you're looking to invest, reach out to Vrbo. They have the data. They're working on it for you guys. So they've got the resources. Reach out to Vrbo. I mean, there's no limitation there. We want them to be successful wherever they're going to invest.
Exactly. And we have that information that's available in marketing materials and in the product, but we believe in the power of a really helpful human being that can help coach you to be successful. And I think, like I told you guys last time I was on the podcast, like, we're not just doing this out of the goodness of our own heart. We know that by providing this guidance, we better supply, and we create that better supply. It's really good for us, and it's a very ROI positive exercise.
And it's good for everybody. It's good for the homeowner, and frankly, it's better for the guests, because the guests are looking, their expectations continue to increase every single year, and what their expectations are. We've got to, as an industry, we've had this tailwind of COVID. We've got to continue to meet those, or it can turn on you fast. Tim, thank you so much. It is a beautiful area, but you and your team and Home Depot have done a great job of just really showing what's possible in a vacation rental. So we've enjoyed it.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me, guys, and thanks for coming up here too.
Absolutely.
And it's
twist my heart. That's right. Let me know what the next time is.
We live a tough life in this industry.
We do. Thank you.
Sure, thanks.
That's it for this week's episode of GuestX. Be sure to sign up for our email list at guestxpodcast.com. That's guest, the letter X, podcast.com. And follow us on your favorite podcast apps so you never miss an episode. He is Mr. Guest Experience Brian O'Malley, and I'm Matthew Loney, signing off and reminding you to always create a customer experience worth talking about.
This podcast is a Hospitality.fm production.